I think a lot of the innovation needs to come in form of airport environments and how the individuals are able to interact with them. I think less than 20 airports in the country have sensory rooms. Right? How many regional international airports are there? There's dozens and dozens.
Welcome to the Future in Flight podcast, coming to you from a hangar somewhere near the flight line, where we've got a crew car full of gas and some great restaurants nearby. Today's episode is guaranteed to hit you right in the feels while opening your eyes to incredible opportunities. We're starting with Antonio Ferrara, founder of Aviators for Autism, who's revolutionizing how families with autistic children experience aviation. Did you know that 87% of families with individuals on the autism spectrum don't plan family vacations? Antonio is changing that one airport tour at a time, while also helping to solve aviation's massive labor shortage in the process. Then, we're diving into the technology that could literally save your life: Bose Aviation headsets. From military necessity to modern marvel, we'll explore how cutting-edge audio technology is making aviation safer and more comfortable for pilots everywhere. And in the drone zone, we're breaking down everything you need to know about earning money flying drones. We're talking about a career that didn't exist when your parents were your age, but could have you making serious cash before you graduate college, if you know the rules. From heartwarming advocacy to life-saving technology to future careers, this episode shows why aviation isn't just about flying. It's about lifting each other up. Make sure all doors and windows are latched. We're clear for takeoff. Let's roll. Now, we're exploring how one father's love for his son is reshaping aviation for an entire community, the autism community.
And any unaccompanied minors ages 5 to 11 traveling alone that I might have, please keep in mind that if you
Picture this. You're at the airport with your family, excited for a vacation. But for millions of families with autistic children, this scene represents anxiety, not adventure. A 2019 study found that 87% of families with individuals on the autism spectrum don't plan family vacations. That's where our guest comes in. Meet Antonio Ferrara, founder of Aviators for Autism, special needs dad, and an aviation professional with over 15 years in the industry. Antonio's story begins where many aviation careers do, with a father who flew.
For me, I was born in it. So, my father, he's just turned 60 this year, and I believe he's 38 years now at American Airlines flying. So he's still got a ways to go, right? So for me, I was kind of, lack of a better word, an aviation brat growing up.
But Antonio's path wasn't traditional. Despite growing up around aircraft, he initially rejected aviation as a career.
And this is like nothing against my father, right? But he wasn't around too much. He was a pilot, right, when I was a kid. So like at a younger age, I was like, man, I don't want to be a pilot, and to most people, it's like pilots, ATC, and like mechanics. It's like the only thing anybody sees in aviation.
This narrow view of aviation opportunities is something Antonio now actively fights against. His journey took him through blue-collar jobs before he found his way back to aviation through aircraft detailing and ground operations. But the real catalyst for his advocacy work came when his son Nicholas was born. Nicholas, now 10, is autistic and non-speaking, diagnosed with apraxia, a brain-body disconnect affecting motor skills.
My son, Nicholas, he just turned 10 years old this past May. Nicholas came along right as I was starting my career at Talon Air. As he grew up, he was always exposed, right? I was bringing him to where I worked. I was bringing him to Brookhaven Airport, where Dad's plane is. We were always traveling.
This exposure led Antonio to a powerful realization about the barriers facing autistic families and the untapped potential within the autism community.
And I came across a study in 2019 that 87% of families with individuals on the spectrum don't plan family vacations. So that's millions of people, millions of families. How do we figure out a way to help bridge that gap, break some of those barriers down?
And so Aviators for Autism was born with a multi-pronged mission: expose, educate, and empower. But Antonio discovered something remarkable during his first events.
I have yet to meet any of the individuals that have come to our events where we put them on aircraft and exposed them to this that didn't love it, one, and two, didn't already have a deep knowledge of it. I mean, I'm meeting like 17, 18-year-olds, 10-year-olds that have like more knowledge on certain things than me, and I've been in this like 15 years.
These airport tours aren't your typical field trips. Antonio and his team have carefully designed sensory-friendly experiences.
So with partners like Talent Air, and then Help Alliance came in, which Help Alliance, if you're not familiar, they are the nonprofit for Lufthansa Airlines. So they've came in and partnered and did an event. And really what we just try and do is make it as welcoming and as exciting for the family. So we have them come in, we give them a boarding pass, they walk through, and we have security. They actually get to go through a metal detector if they want, and actually give up their item. We have a table, like, you got a gym, you got to give up the bear. It's got to go through the machine, right? Because it's like a reality when you get there, and people don't even think of that, like the comfort item that they have to separate from to go through a machine, and then have to walk through this big machine that's beeping, and there's all these people. Just that in itself is like overstimulating.
The attention to detail is remarkable, from providing comfort items to healthy snacks, creating a realistic but supportive airport experience.
These kids were coming off, and they're like, I'm in Canada now. Like, they're like, it was like really immersive. And every parent said, everybody's been so patient and so kind. This has been so amazing. So it's been really great to do these with Talent Air and Help Alliance. And the goal is to do them all across the country.
But Antonio's vision extends beyond family travel. He sees a massive opportunity that could benefit both the autism community and the aviation industry.
Aviation Insider published an article, 1.5 million aviation employees by 2034. So like, if that doesn't cement that we have a constant need for the workforce, and then couple that with over 80% of individuals on the spectrum with a diagnosis, with a college or high school degree, are unemployed or underemployed.
The math is staggering. A massive labor shortage meets a community with incredible untapped potential. Antonio is already putting this theory into practice with innovative approaches.
So aircraft charter sales. And what we're going to do is, I'm actually taking a page out of Apollo Jet's book. My vision is to create the industry's first flight desk powered by the neurodiverse community.
This isn't about charity. It's about recognizing the unique strengths of neurodiverse individuals. Attention to detail, ability to hyper-focus, and following procedures precisely.
You give neurodiverse individuals an overview of their workflow and their responsibilities. These are your procedures. You do it X, Y, and Z. If it's never like this, we don't do it. You reach out to the supervisor, right? Like, it actually, one, will help the company build up a more robust procedures and processes.
Antonio's work extends beyond professional advocacy. As a special needs father, he's created support networks for other dads facing similar challenges.
I started a WhatsApp group for special needs dads. I've dealt with some of these same things as well, but most dudes like suffer in silence. Over 80% of families with kids on the spectrum end in divorce, right? So it's not an easy road for anybody.
For parents hesitant about traveling with their autistic children, Antonio offers both practical advice and hope.
For those that aren't even to that spot yet, because we tried to take Jimmy to the mall last week and it didn't even work out there, so we're not going to try it. I would say don't give up hope. We can help support you.
His message to young people on the autism spectrum considering aviation careers is equally powerful.
Every opportunity that's afforded to everybody else is afforded to you. You're only bound by whatever the limits you put on yourself. There's plenty of individuals in this industry that'll give you mentorship, guidance, and assist you along the way.
The future Antonio envisions isn't just about accommodation. It's about recognition. Recognition that neurodiversity brings valuable perspectives and skills to aviation.
If somebody would be traditionally left out, that they should have a seat at the table. If you're leaving somebody out of the conversation, there's a whole group of answers to the projects or the things that you're working on that you're excluding yourself from.
Antonio Ferrara is proving that when we expand our definition of what's possible, everybody wins. Families get to experience the joy of travel, the aviation industry gets passionate, dedicated workers, and young people on the autism spectrum get to see that the sky really is not the limit. You can learn more about Aviators for Autism at aviatorsforautism.org. Up next, we explore what makes Bose Aviation the most technologically incredible and comfortable headsets on the market today. Hey podcast fans, are you looking for another aviation-themed podcast for your playlist? Check out the newest season of the Wonder Woman of Aviation, hosted by the head Wonder Woman of Aviation herself, Natalia Mackley. A passionate advocate for women in aviation, Natalia sits down with some of the industry's biggest names for heartfelt, in-depth conversations. Check out the Wonder Woman of Aviation, available now on all on-demand audio platforms. Picture this. You're flying at 8,000 feet when suddenly your radio crackles with an urgent message from air traffic control. But there's a problem. Your engine is so loud you can barely make out what they're saying. In that moment, your headset isn't just equipment. It could literally be the difference between life and death. Now we're exploring how cutting-edge audio technology is revolutionizing aviation safety, one pilot at a time.
92 Bose runway 9 line of 40 traffic landing cross runway.
Our story begins in the 1980s with military pilots facing a deadly problem. Aircraft noise was so overwhelming that critical communications were getting lost. That's when Bose, already famous for their consumer audio, decided to tackle aviation's biggest challenge. With me is Chris Werfel from Bose Aviation, who's going to take us inside this incredible journey from military necessity to modern marvel.
So we focus on three things for the most part. Really the active noise cancellation of the headset, which was pioneered, then developed into a commercial headset, which today is now the A30, but has gone through many iterations. So the active noise cancellation, the comfort of the headset, because as you know, I mean, you're going to be wearing these for whether it's 2 hours or in a commercial environment, 8, 10, 12 hours. So it's important to have a really comfortable headset. And then clarity of audio.
What Chris just described represents decades of evolution. Imagine the first aviation headsets. Massive, heavy contraptions that clamped onto pilots' heads like medieval torture devices. Fast forward to today, and we're looking at technology that would seem like magic to those early aviators. The secret sauce? In part, it's the active noise cancellation that works like having a personal audio wizard sitting on your shoulder. Here's how the magic happens.
There are microphones on the outside and the inside of the ear cup, and they're monitoring the amount of noise and then creating an inverse wavelength to cancel the noise. So there's a high, medium, and low setting. So there's a fair amount of passive attenuation, but really where this headset wins and shines with active noise cancellation.
Think about that for a moment. Your headset is literally listening to the chaos around you and creating the exact opposite sound waves to cancel it out. It's like having a superhero power in your ears. And with the new A30 and ProFlight Series 2 headsets, this technology has reached new heights of sophistication. It gets even better when you realize that Bose didn't just make these headsets lighter, they completely reimagined what comfort means in aviation.
The A30s are a few ounces lighter, which doesn't sound like a tremendous amount, but when you sort of multiply that over time, it feels considerably lighter. And the other thing is they have 20% less clamping force. So now when you reduce some of the weight, you have less clamping force, they feel even that much lighter on your head.
Almost every improvement in these headsets came from real pilots sharing real problems. Picture a flight instructor spending 8 hours a day in the cockpit, or a commercial pilot on a cross-country route dealing with headset fatigue that affects their performance and safety. Bose took those stories seriously, and that's led to something remarkable in an industry often driven by rigid specifications, a company that actually listens. Literally.
So we absolutely listen to the aviation community to provide exactly what they need while still focusing and not sacrificing kind of the active noise cancellation for the clarity of audio. We're not going to add a bell and whistle for the sake of adding some technology to it. It has to be something that makes a demonstrable difference.
This philosophy's helped create aviation equipment that pilots genuinely love using. The proof? This week at Oshkosh, I watched pilot after pilot share their stories with Chris. Tales of flights where clear communication made all the difference.
Monday was just insane, and it has just not stopped. So I've been doing a fair amount of demos. Somebody was saying what they love about our headsets, how they've used them, how it saved them.
These aren't just customer testimonials. They're survival stories. Stories of missed approaches in bad weather where crystal clear radio communication prevented disasters. Stories of long flights where comfort meant the difference between alert decision-making and dangerous fatigue. But let's address the elephant in the hangar: cost. For young pilots just starting their journey, a premium headset represents a significant investment. Here's how the aviation community views that investment.
Yes, it is an investment. We're well aware that buying one of our headsets can be an investment, but it's a worthwhile investment and one that you are going to have for years, if not decades, to come. And it's a lot of fun when I have a couple of, I'll say a more senior pilot and a more junior pilot, and the senior pilot is like, just get it. Like, don't even hesitate. It's well worth the investment.
What's fascinating is that Bose stands behind this investment with a 90-day trial period. Use it, fly with it, test it in real conditions. If you're not completely satisfied, return it. That's confidence in engineering that speaks volumes. The bigger story here isn't just about headsets. It's about how consumer technology is transforming aviation safety. The same innovation that powers your favorite streaming headphones is now protecting pilots in some of the most demanding environments on Earth. From grass strips in rural America to international airports handling hundreds of flights daily, and even smoke on in the box over Oshkosh, Bose headsets help pilots communicate clearly, stay comfortable, and make better decisions. For young people dreaming of aviation, this technology represents more than just equipment. It's a gateway to safer, more enjoyable flying. The future of flight isn't just about faster planes or autonomous systems. It's about technology that makes flying safer and more accessible for everyone. Companies like Bose are proving that when you combine cutting-edge engineering with genuine pilot feedback, you create products that exceed expectations. Up next in the Drone Zone, we take a look at what it takes to be able to earn money by flying your drone. Picture this. You're 18 years old, standing in a field at sunset with a controller in your hands. Above you, a sleek drone captures breathtaking footage of a wedding ceremony. The couple will treasure this video forever. And you just made $500 in 2 hours. Welcome into the Drone Zone. Today, we're diving into the world of commercial drone piloting, a career path that didn't even exist when your parents were your age, but could be your ticket to financial freedom before you graduate college. Let's start with a reality check. The drone industry is absolutely exploding. We're talking about a sector that's expected to create hundreds of thousands of jobs in the next decade. Real estate photography, wedding videography, agricultural monitoring, search and rescue operations. Drones are everywhere, and someone needs to fly them. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. If you want to get paid even a single dollar to fly a drone, the Federal Aviation Administration says you need something called a Part 107 Remote Pilot Certificate. No exceptions. Grace Cantwell, a drone pilot and co-founder of Drone Cadets, puts it simply.
If you ever want to get paid to fly a drone, this is for you. You need to get your remote pilot certification from the FAA.
And trust me, you don't want to skip this step. Flying commercially without a license can cost you anywhere from $1,100 to $75,000 in fines. That's not exactly the kind of debt you want to carry in your 20s. So how do you get this golden ticket? It's actually more straightforward than you might think, but it does require some serious preparation. First, the basics. You need to be at least 16 years old. So if you're listening in and you're 14 or 15, start studying. You'll also need to read, speak, write, and understand English, and be physically and mentally capable of safely operating a drone. No medical exam required. It's all self-certified. The heart of the process is something called the Remote Pilot Knowledge Test. Picture the SATs, but for drone pilots. It's 60 multiple-choice questions, cost about $175, and you need to score at least 70% to pass. You get 2 hours to complete it, which sounds generous until you realize you'll be squinting at detailed aviation charts. Grace Cantwell has some practical advice.
My biggest tip to you, besides study, is bring a magnifying glass. You're going to need it to read all those pesky sectional charts.
Now, what exactly are you studying? Think of it as Aviation 101. No, not that dashingly handsome fella from Aviation YouTube. Actual classroom stuff. You'll learn about airspace, which is basically the invisible highways in the sky. You'll study weather patterns because nobody wants their $2,000 drone caught in a thunderstorm. You'll memorize regulations about where and when you can fly, and you'll understand drone performance and limitations. The test breaks down like this: 15 to 25% regulations, 15 to 25% airspace, 35 to 45% aircraft operations, 11 to 16% weather, and 7 to 11% loading and performance. It's comprehensive, but totally manageable with the right preparation. Here's a couple of tips about preparation. The FAA provides free study materials, including their Remote Pilot Study Guide. It's dense, it's technical, and it's absolutely free. There are also YouTube videos, online forums, and practice tests available at no cost. But if you're the type who learns better with structure, and most of us are, there are paid courses ranging from $100 to $300. These often come with practice exams, video lessons, and sometimes even pass guarantees. Companies like Pilot Institute and Drone Pilot Ground School have built entire businesses around getting people through this test. The investment makes sense when you consider that many commercial drone pilots charge $75 to $150 per hour for their services. One good wedding gig can pay for your entire certification process and then some. Pass the test, and you're not quite done yet. You'll need to complete some paperwork through the FAA's online system called IACRA or IACRA, undergo a TSA background check, and wait for your temporary certificate. The whole process typically takes a few weeks. Once you're certified, your license is good for 2 years. To renew, you'll need to complete recurrent training, which thankfully is much easier than the initial test. It's usually just an online course that takes an hour or two. But here's what really matters: what you can do with a certificate. And the opportunities are genuinely endless. Real estate agents need property footage. Farmers need crop monitoring. Construction companies need site surveys. The sky is literally the limit. Now, let's talk about money and expectations. You're not going to become a millionaire overnight flying drones. Like any business, it takes time to build a client base and develop skills that command premium rates. Starting out, you might charge $50 to $100 for basic photography work. As you gain experience in specialized skills like thermal imaging or 3D mapping, you can charge significantly more. Some drone pilots specializing in industrial inspections make $200 to $300 an hour. The beauty of drone piloting is its flexibility. You can start as a side hustle while you're in school, building experience in a portfolio. Many successful commercial pilots started exactly this way, flying drones on weekends and gradually building their business. So there you have it, your roadmap to the skies. A Part 107 certificate isn't just a piece of paper. It's your license to participate in one of the fastest growing industries in America. It's a career path that combines technology, creativity, and entrepreneurship in ways that would have seemed like science fiction just a decade ago. The test might seem intimidating, but remember, thousands of people pass it every month. With proper preparation, most people find it entirely manageable. And once you're certified, you'll join a community of pilots who are literally seeing the world from a new perspective and getting paid for it. Whether you're looking for a full-time career or a lucrative side hustle, with drones, the sky isn't the limit. It's your office. A special thank you to our friends at Drone Cadets for the assist on this episode of the Drone Zone. Check them out online at dronecadets.com. What an incredible flight! From Antonio Ferrara's inspiring mission to make aviation accessible for the autism community, to the life-saving innovation behind Bose headsets, to the explosive opportunities in commercial drone piloting, today's episode reminded us that aviation's greatest strength isn't its technology, it's in its people. Antonio's story really hit home for me when he said if somebody would be traditionally left out, they should have a seat at the table. That's not just about autism advocacy. That's the spirit that makes aviation stronger. Whether we're talking about neurodiverse individuals bringing incredible attention to detail to flight desks, or young pilots investing in quality headsets that keep them safe, or teenagers starting drone businesses, it's all about expanding who gets to participate in this amazing world of flight. And speaking of participation, I need you to be part of growing this community. If today's episode inspired you, motivated you, or taught you something new, please hit that subscribe button right now. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else, subscribing ensures you never miss these incredible stories. Here's my challenge to you. Take just 30 seconds and leave us a 5-star review. Tell others what you love about the show. Those reviews are like runway lights. They guide new listeners to discover our community and join this journey we're on. Got ideas for future episodes? Know someone with an amazing aviation story? Reach out through our website or social media. This podcast is powered by the incredible stories within our aviation family, and I'm always looking for the next inspiring tale to share. To every listener out there, thank you for showing that aviation isn't just about individual achievement. It's also about lifting everyone higher. Until next time, keep advocating for inclusion, keep investing in safety, and remember, the future of flight is built by people who believe everyone deserves a chance to soar. We'll see you out there and up there.